Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Flashback Comics. I am your host today, the store manager, Troy David Phillips, here at Flashback Comics in Woodbridge, Virginia. And with me yet one more time, because I just can't learn my lessons, Kevin Goswan, ComicsOnline.com. Everything geek pop culture, because he doesn't like the word and.
Thanks for having me back once again. So Troy, we've got some comic books to talk about. Do you want to start us out?
I suppose I could do that.
What do you got first? I want to know, because today's a really good week.
It is. You have to understand here, poor Kevin is so behind in his reading right now. His backup pile looks like my weekly poll pile.
I've been reading stuff. I read that Jay Faerber thing. Oh my God, what's it called? Copperhead? Your mom?
Copperhead.
Oh my God, that is
the
like
new one from Image. Well, not new. It's 3 weeks old now. But
whatever. I just read it. I just read it like yesterday.
It was great.
It was amazing.
It was great.
It
Frontier town in space. Lead female character is the sheriff, raising her kid. Tough as nails. It's if you like a dirty Western, if you like a science fiction, this has both of those things.
If you're a brown coat, you might like this. I mean, it's not the same universe, but it's got a lot of the trappings. You may really love it, and I really love it.
It's like Serenity with aliens.
Oh, right. Yeah. Serenity didn't really have any aliens.
No, they did not.
Right.
So
I read that, and I started reading that The Wildfire.
Yeah,
that was a little talky for me when I was first reading it. I was medicated. I had a little procedure, and so I was a little medicated. So I was like, "Oh, this is way too talky for me. I can't read it." And then I got back to it, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a really good."
It's a very good story. The first issue is very talky, but as you move into the second issue and then the third issue, when the disaster happens, I don't want to drop too much on people here, but and the artwork isn't the artwork just beautiful?
The artwork is beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous. But yes, so the first issue it is very word heavy, and then things start happening. The scientific irresponsibilities start to turn into catastrophes.
Yeah, and the third thing that I want to talk about, another indie thing. Me, the Marvel guy, wants to talk about another indie thing. Was the Genius that you also turned me on to.
Yes, indeed.
I really enjoyed it. Genius was genius, except for, here's the thing. Here's my one really big complaint that I hope they address. I could be full of baloney, but I kind of want to choke the editor, because there were kind of weird problems with it that could have been so easily fixed, and I can't remember exactly what they were, but they were like, "Oh, that word doesn't mean that."
There might have been a couple of spots like that. My initial read was so fast, and the book came out weekly, so that you had 5 issues very, very quickly.
Yeah.
I read through the 5 issues for the most part together, but I think on a second read, I might actually more critically appraise those technical details.
Yeah, but it's amazing, and I hope it becomes a movie.
Yes, indeed. So from Image Comics, we're talking Copperhead, Wildfire, and Genius. You can find those things at Flashback Comics.
You can.
You should find those things at Flashback Comics.
Can I get 3, 4, and 5 of Genius? Because I don't think I have them.
Absolutely you can. I'm going to take care of that.
All right.
Yes, indeed. So this week's comics. Let's talk about this week's. Let's talk about right now.
What's your first one from this week? And this is October 1st. Wednesday, October 1st, these come out, which is tomorrow for us.
Starting right here. DC Comics, The Flash.
The Flash. Raise that up a little bit. All right. The Flash. So this is a season 0 or a series 0? What is this?
This is, in fact, Flash season 0. So these will be events that occur prior to the show, where Barry Allen, of course, was introduced in the Arrow series, and kind of a backdoor pilot, I think is what they refer to that. These would be then published adventures, not direct adaptations of the show itself, but more like bridging sequences, things to take you from the comic to the show and back again.
Phil Hester art.
Indeed. It was An interesting story. It definitely feels very much like a Flash comic. It doesn't have the lengthy continuity. It doesn't have that backing it just yet. Obviously, everything is supposed to be new and fresh here. But so far, good treatment of the Scarlet Speedster in Central City with an interesting support cast. It looks like there are going to be some things that are different from our classic interpretation of Barry Allen and even from the New 52 version of Barry Allen. But hey, I'm all on board for both the comic, season 0, and for the show.
I'm just happy that these two shows occur in the same universe.
That's a nice change for DC. I hope they follow suit with more properties.
I'm guessing Gotham doesn't, but maybe.
No, it does not. It's on Fox.
Well, but they could make it be. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me get you my first.
Okay.
My first. Well, you can see that that Troy David has got his glorious.
Avengers Assemble.
Sorry, I get distracted when Mark gestures at me. And of course, I've got my Mad Engine Captain America shirt.
Why is the engine so angry?
I don't know. We should ask Joe Madureira. Shout out to my folks, my friends and associates over there. Not associates. Acquaintances is what I was looking for. Friends and acquaintances over at Mad Engine.
Well, they might not all be acquaintances. Some of them might be cronies. A few of them might be contemporaries. Some of them might be drinking buddies.
He's got these weird nested... Anyway. Where I was going with this was I love Captain America, and oh look, who is the new Captain America? Spoilers, I think it's Sam Wilson.
Well, gee, the question is asked on the cover, but is the question answered on the interior? Only one way to find out. We have been building to some big changes for Captain America here. Have you been following the Rick Remender story very closely from the beginning here?
If I were to say yes, I would be lying.
Well, I have been reading ever since Cap was trapped in Dimension Z and escaped from Dimension Z and brought Jet Black with him and lost Sharon Carter.
This panel?
Oh, no. Never show him the last page. Come on. That's no good. But show him that one.
All right, here's some stuff with Sam in it. Here's some stuff with Sam in it.
There we go. It's a two-hander job right there.
There it is.
Yes, indeed. So, yes, Captain America has been pretty darned incredible. And yes, there will be some very big changes. The Cap has lost the effects of the super soldier serum. So he is now advanced in years. He is old, as you would expect for a man who was young in World War II. But he still has his reflexes and his training and his experience. Just, I don't think that's enough for him to be Captain America, and apparently he doesn't either. Someone new is taking on the identity. Someone new is taking on the costume. Not unlike Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. Not unlike... John Walker, the Super Patriot.
Walker, yeah.
Not unlike
D-Man,
the other Captain America from the 1950s.
All right.
There was the short-lived Roscoe.
The Super Patriot.
No, not the Super Patriot.
What,
Roscoe was
Patriot?
in... No. You're thinking
Spirit of 76?
Well, there was Spirit of 76, William Naslund, yes. And then there was Jeff Mace, formerly the Patriot.
There
there was Roscoe. Okay, now we're going in order. In any event, there is a new Captain America, and we will see a reveal on that in the last page of this current issue of Captain America. You should pick that up.
Which is number 25. Way better. This is way better than the last time we had a Captain America 25.
Well, perhaps.
Wasn't that when he died? 25?
Yeah.
I'm not good at those numbers anymore.
Well,
Troy.
Yes.
Did I get it right this week?
At the end of the events of Civil War, yes, Steve Rogers was shot, and we believed he was actually dead, but he was not. He was lost in time, and he returned to time, and here we have Captain America back again.
And this time it's Rick Remender, who's not killing Cap, in fact.
No, he is not.
So
he is doing something different.
Thanks, Rick.
While we're talking about big changes at Marvel, I was going to save this one for last, but I'm just going to dovetail off of you here and get to the next big change at Marvel, which focuses on everyone's favorite god of thunder, except now it is a goddess of thunder. We are going to see the new Thor. But before we see the new Thor, we're going to actually take a look at Current Thor. Current Thor is, as we know,
Ice Giants.
not worthy to wield the hammer as the result of something whispered in his ear by Nick Fury during the events of Original Sin. Oh, looky here. We have Jotun.
More like Dick Fury, am I right?
Oh, Kevin.
Not a fan of his recent actions. He's not been a happy guy.
And there is poor Thor, unable to wield the hammer, wondering what will happen next, what will become of him. There was a surprising element that occurred in the story. I saw Odin approach Thor and attempt to snap his boy out of his malaise.
Where were you when you saw this?
Here in the store. I was flipping through. No, I was actually standing on the moon watching the Asgardia Council gather around Thor in concern. I was also concerned. Odin couldn't seem to get Thor to snap out of his depression, and strange. Odin's interaction with the hammer was not what I expected it to be. I won't tell you what happens. I won't tell you what doesn't happen, but it's different from anything that's happened before.
Weird.
Yeah. But you know what? I give credit to Jason Aaron for coming up with something that hasn't been done before.
Here's my problem, and granted, I am not fully caught up, and I certainly haven't read this one that comes out tomorrow. But as for how it's been advertised over the past this new Thor, Thor isn't going to be Thor. A female is going to be Thor. Which, okay, if they're going to say a female is going to be the god of thunder and wield Mjolnir, then okay, fine. But why would somebody gain the name? I mean, it's like, no, I'm sorry, you're no longer Troy. You're not worthy to be Troy anymore. This girl from next door is going to be Troy from here on out.
You may recall, I hope, from the pages of Journey to Mystery number 83. Don Blake grabbed the stick, struck it in anger, and was transformed. And the inscription on the hammer reads, "If he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor, whosoever holds this hammer."
Right.
Now, that was obviously Donald Blake, and at that time, the story sort of led you to believe that Donald Blake was still very much Donald Blake, but he possessed the power of Thor, but not actually being Thor himself. Now, this story unfolded through the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby years, where it was revealed that, in fact, he is Thor himself.
And he was Thor all along.
Yes, and
yeah.
Don Blake was the disguise. That is the secondary alter ego. Well, I think what we're looking at here is this woman possessing the power of Thor. Now, I believe we're still going to call Thor Thor. He's going to be wielding his axe Yarnborn, and he is going to persist as a character. We're not getting rid of him. We're not killing him. We're not shelving him. He's just not going to be able to possess the hammer. Presumptively, he's not going to have all of the God of Thunder powers that come with possessing the hammer. That's going to belong to this female version of Thor. The story hasn't completely unfolded yet, however, so in terms of who's getting called what, some of those details have yet to really, truly be unfolded. Well, let's give Jason Aaron some time to let his story come out, and then we can... Unfortunately, it means we're criticizing it after the fact, but...
Or really before the fact. I think that I hope that Jason Aaron... I mean, obviously, he's a great writer. He has, great things that he's done up until now, and so we have no reason to suspect that he's going to say something ridiculous like that. But the way it was advertised was stupid, to be blunt.
Well, and that's certainly your opinion, and you're welcome to hold on to it. Yeah, right. You are, of course, in the...
Fully my opinion.
Yes,
not
indeed.
Anyone else's, not Troy's even.
Right. Of course, now my opinion would be completely correct, and yours would be completely false, but, that's okay. That's okay. We still love you, Kev.
So my next one... Speaking of Marvel Comics, as we just were, Black Widow. This has been... I am not fully caught up on it, but I read the first trade that I got recently. Edmondson and Phil Noto... I would have got it anyway, because frankly, it's I love Phil Noto's art. Nathan Edmondson, look at this. Here's the thing: it is every bit the spy thriller in every issue, and so unfortunately for people like me, who just are wanting more and more and more, it's a fast read. It's not like it's a bunch of it's not like Superman, Batman, or Red Hulk, where you've got huge splash pages or anything like that, or it's not something that is all dialogue free action, but it's such a fast read because it's tense and exciting. I highly recommend it.
The story does move very quickly. Mr. Edmondson is doing a fantastic job with this. The note artwork is very beautiful. It does take Black Widow back into her espionage roots. It has some, I don't want to compare them, and I certainly don't want to sound insulting when I say this because I mean it complimentary. It has some of the same trappings about the writing of Ed Brubaker that I very much enjoy.
I can see that.
So I put both writers highly recommended on the read their espionage type stuff. Ed Brubaker working on Fade Out for Image and working on Velvet also for Image. And Brubaker, of course, also did Captain America.
25.
And more besides. But yes, Black Widow definitely, it has a fast pace to it, and it definitely puts the character in situations that challenge and tax her, but still allow her to be, well, the badass that she is. I don't feel like the story unnecessarily gimps the character or nerfs her or holds her back, what have you. In any event, Black Widow, pick that up, people. If you haven't been, you should jump into this. So you ready for my next pick, Kev?
Give it to us.
All right.
More Marvel.
More Marvel. Last week I was all about indies. This week I am all over Guardians 3000. Okay.
That was going to be one of my picks as well.
But I beat you to it because I'm faster than you are. Kind of like the Flash. Guardians 3000. Fans of the Guardians of the Galaxy. That team is set here in the 21st century. Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Gamora, Drax the Destroyer. However, they take their inspiration from a team of characters that first appeared in, I think that was 1968 in Marvel Superheroes number 18. Arnold Drake was the artist. And they were four characters, four very science fiction themed characters. Major Vance Astro, a survivor of the 20th century, 1,000 years into the future. Yondu, the sole survivor of the people of Alpha Centauri.
Way different than the Michael Rooker character. Way different.
Way different, but with some similarities. Then there was Charlie 27, a man who had been part of a race bioengineered to live in the heavy gravity environment of Jupiter. Charlie 27 was trained as a militiaman and was 11 times as massive as a human being. And then there was Martinex Udanta, who came from the Pluto colony. As their stories went on, they picked up others like the survivor of the Mercury colony, Nicolette Gold. And then later, the Arcturian mutant Starhawk. And Starhawk had a very interesting story in and of himself, which unfolded throughout much of the character's life and appearances, particularly through the Avengers and then later through the Jim Valentino series. They got into a lot of Starhawk in the Jim Valentino series. Well, we saw some of these characters in the contemporary Guardians series, not this one, but the one that preceded it. Now we are back with Guardians 3000 issue number 1. Dan Abnett writing, so yeah, I have high hopes there. And Gerardo Sandoval. I just got to show you a little bit of the interior action here. It's just so beautiful. Major Vance Astro is a man trapped in his suit because, as he is 1,000 years old, exposure to oxygen causes his skin to rapidly deteriorate. He has found Captain America's shield. The indestructible shield has survived through the years, through the various disasters, alien invasions, apocalypses, and now Vance Astro carries that shield as a source of inspiration. So Guardians 3000, this is a return to comics for the original team, the team set in the 31st century. In some ways, analogous to DC Comics' Legion of Superheroes, set in the 30th century, but a much smaller cast of characters and a very interesting mix of characters. I can't wait to dive deep into the first issue and see where it's going to take me. But if you like the Guardians as they are right now, if you like the contemporary team, I heartily recommend picking up the first issue of 3000 and seeing how you like this team set in the future. If you like nuts and bolts science fiction, this is going to give that to you. And
are we expecting that with this new series? I mean, 'cause I realize that's how it was originally, but
yeah, what I've seen, it looks like I'm going to get wall-to-wall action and deep, deep, deep stuff.
all right, I'm into it. I can't wait.
Okay, well, you'll have to wait at least 24 more hours.
Right. Well, I can wait a week, a couple. I'm behind. You see, I might not notice that. You know what I mean. Okay.
Yeah.
So my next one.
Yes.
Leaving Marvel.
Oh my goodness.
Leaving Marvel and going to not where they were before, but to Titan Comics. There's some stories about the 11th Doctor, and as I've said before, the 11th Doctor is probably my favorite. This was written by someone called Rob Williams, and we've got artists shown on the cover: Simon Fraser and Gary Caldwell. And I don't know, haven't read it yet, but I'm such a big Whovian anymore that I'm willing to just jump in and check it out. And this is number 3 of the current number 3 of the current 11th Doctor series.
Yes, indeed. So far, so good. It looks like I have not had the opportunity to pick up this most recent series. I had followed some of the issues of the predecessor Doctor Who series, but I have also become a fan of the show, and I'm very sporadic in my ability to watch the show because of my channel availabilities. I'm actually thinking about just picking up complete DVD sets and binge watching, because every time I watch the show, I see something interesting, and I get engaged, and I've not seen a Fall Flat episode yet. I'm sure there must be some, but I have not actually seen any of those. Every episode I see makes me want to watch another episode.
I've got last season if you want to watch it.
I would very much like to do that.
All right.
If you could just confer that to me.
Yeah, no problem.
I will prove worthy.
Yeah, and so this season with the new Doctor, like Troy was wearing the Capaldi Doctor last week. That T-shirt. I am starting to actually really get into his thing, because here's my thing. I'm thinking that I don't love the character. I don't love 12 or 13 or whatever he's being called. But I love even Clara is better this season, which is weird because she was so, I don't know, plastic previously.
Well, usually in instances like that, I feel the need to give the plot a little more time to evolve, because there may be something that comes out about the character as to why they're being unlikable.
Oh, yeah.
And then once that situation resolves itself,
and they have been,
the character can go back to something that you find more palatable.
Yeah, they have been explaining kind of bit by bit why it is that the character is now old and crotchety all of a sudden.
Yeah. These constant evolutions, they've got to these regenerations of the Doctor. They've got to take a toll on you after a while.
Yeah.
So Doctor Who,
number 3.
Get into
Titan
that.
Comics,
the 11th Doctor.
Yeah.
All right. So you ready for my next one?
Please.
All right. Coming back to my love of DC Comics.
Oh.
Action Comics number 35. And a shout out at Greg Pak, who I love his writing work. It's been amazing. Who needs Superman? We do. This is the aftermath of the Doom story. But I also want to show this variant cover, this beautiful monster variant cover by veteran legendary artist Neil Adams.
Creepy.
Yeah. It definitely has that. But that's Neil Adams for you. His stuff is just so good. He's got that kind of texturing, those facial expressions, the musculature, the shading. I believe he has a hand in coloring, even if he's not the colorist himself. That he makes coloring suggestions or requests or demands. Whatever.
It's Neil Adams. Who's going to tell him no?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't. A little bit of the interior here. You have artist Scott Collins on the interior, and I have liked Scott Collins' work in other things as well. I really just can't say enough. Action Comics. Since last week, we had the second issue, Doomed, and this brings us to the conclusion of the Doomed story. But it's not quite the conclusion. Like I said, Action Comics is the Doomed aftermath. So a couple of great variant covers to choose from. You should come in and pick up the latest installment in Action Comics, which introduced Superman, the superhero that gives us DC Comics as we know it today. Well, sort of.
Sort of. May as well.
Flashpoint Paradox notwithstanding.
Darn that New 52. So anyway, on with more indies for me. Something that I am caught up on, thank goodness, thank Troyness. We've got The Walking Dead, and here we are with issue. God, they did that 2 issues a month for a while, and now we're at what, 123 now?
132.
That's what I meant to say. 132. Subtitled Happiness, which I'm into happiness. Who isn't?
Well, you know what? If it's in The Walking Dead, I'm sure that happiness is fleeting at best. Adler's art. I'm not the biggest black and white comic fan, but Adler's art and the black and white Walking Dead series, it all just goes together. His artwork, the lack of color, it just that lends itself to the mood and the tenor and the texture of the story. It's amazing. There's no surprise that Kirkman's story has gone 132 issues. How many comics go 132 issues anymore?
Only the good ones.
Well, that would include at this moment in time Savage Dragon and Spawn. Savage Dragon at 146, I believe, and Spawn at 246.
Only the good ones in Spawn. Todd McFarlane, that's a joke.
So, yes, Walking Dead, happiness. Come get that and see exactly what kind of happiness that the survivors can find in Robert Kirkman's zombie apocalypse.
You got another DC one over there.
No, that was actually 2. That was the variant cover.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you got next?
Next up, Image Comics, J. Michael Straczynski, Protectors, Inc. I absolutely love this book. It's one of my favorites, right up there with Dream Police from Straczynski.
They used to live inside of his head. All right.
Cheap trick.
That was a cheap joke.
Oh, my goodness.
So this one.
Okay, so the story, for those who haven't been following Protectors, Inc., it is, in fact, a J. Michael Straczynski superhero story. We have heroes but no villains, or at least that's how the premise is introduced to us. It starts in World War II with an empowered super soldier called the Patriot, and the Patriot survives through the years and into more modern times. Other supers come up. They are heroes. We don't have any villains. So the heroes seem to have no one to fight, and then someone is murdered. One of the supers is killed, and the cop investigating is asking the questions like, who would want to kill this superhuman, and how did they kill this superhuman? How do you kill a superhuman? And J. Michael Straczynski is pretty good at building on this cop drama mystery, overlayered with this superheroic story, and a little social commentary while he's at it.
Well, I liked Bendis's Who Killed Retro Girl.
Yes, indeed.
Different story.
If you liked that, then I am in fact going to recommend that you pick up Protectors, Inc.
And I too love the old Joe Straczynski. I can't talk today.
JMS.
I don't know.
Just go
I
with
apologize.
That. Yes, indeed. So I did suggest Genius, and oh look, you're all in. And I did suggest Copperhead, and oh look, you're all in.
Oh my God, Copperhead, so good.
So I'm going to go ahead and suggest Protectors, Inc. You know where this is going.
Damn it. All right, fine. Is this the first one? Issue 9.
Issue 9. You're going to have to do a little catching up here, Kev. All
right, just give me the first one and we'll go from there. If it's all Straczynski, right? He's not taking over for somebody?
No.
Right,
this is all JMS. The Mighty Joe.
All right. My next one, my final one for this week. We're almost done. Thank good. I mean, you should be saying that. Helheim, my good pal from St. Louis. You got it? You got the picture?
Yep.
Colin Bunn, writer of The Sixth Gun and The Damned and, gosh, a ton of Marvel stuff, has done this Helheim, and now we've got Brides of Helheim, and this is the first issue of that. Now, did you read Helheim?
I did, in fact, read the predecessor series, and I very much liked the kind of the Norse warrior and the witch's curse and the risen, the dead warrior risen again and his kind of quest of vengeance. It was a good story. It was kind of short. I thought it would actually go a little bit longer. So I'm very interested in the Brides.
Yeah, I was under the impression that it was going to be a series of miniseries, and I guess looking at this, this kind of qualifies for that.
It does. It lends itself right into that. So Colin Bunn, good writer.
Yeah. And we're going to talk to him soon. Well, I said it was going to be this episode, but we're not. Not this episode, obviously.
Not this episode.
No. I mean, he's not like behind. Colin Bunn? No, he's not here. Okay. Yeah, Scott's going to, because Scott's bald too.
There's no confusing the two of them.
Really, there's not. But yes, we will talk to him at some point soon, and it'll be on just the audio podcast rather than the video stuff.
I'm looking forward to listening to that.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna do it. You're gonna be on the Skype with me. It
doesn't mean that I don't want to listen to it after the fact.
Oh yeah, me too. I'll listen to it in the car as well.
Yeah, really. So there's our top fives.
That's our top five. So
that's our fives.
And that was comics for this week. We've got a lot of comics. We've got more comics than I even look at all this other stuff that we didn't even talk about. There's like Fantastic Four Annual, and there's other stuff. Star-Lord. There's more. There's
not just any Star-Lord, Kevin. Legendary Star-Lord.
Whatever adjective he wants to have is fine with me.
Guardians 3K.
And Guardians 3K. I mean, I
did talk about that.
You did talk about that. But there's a ton of great stuff this week, and those were just my tops. Like I couldn't even. It was hard to pare down to 5 this week for me. There's a lot of great stuff. So, if you're in the greater DC area, come into Flashback, talk to Troy. He'll hook you up. But if you're elsewhere, go into your local comic book store and give them your money because there's some great stuff.
No. Drive here.
Well, if you can make it, you should probably do so. It's worth it.
And then you can also talk to Kevin and help encourage him into the competition as to which one of us can collect the most titles every month.
Troy will win.
Right now, but you could catch up. That could be a possibility. That could be a thing.
It could be a possibility. But, yeah, so by the way, listeners and watchers, those folks who are still watching the video podcast, I apologize. I had a little procedure and I'm a little medicated, and so I am more ditzy than normal.
Is that a possibility?
Yeah, and it's like you would think, okay, he just, with the original incarnation of the podcast, I would slur, and then I would exclaim, 9.7% or whatever the percentage of the alcohol it was I was drinking.
Right.
But I can't even say that. I'm medicated and a little bit woozy.
Percocet.
I didn't tell him, but yeah. So they got this scope, see, and never mind. You don't want to know about that.
You know what? Let's get you to dinner and get some food in your belly.
Right, but no beer this week because
none for you.
Yeah,
I'll drink yours.
All right.
You can buy it, and I'll drink yours.
Maybe. So I think that's us for this week. Next week will be better, I promise. As far as I can tell. So for Megan hiding in the back.
Hey, Saturday, October 25th.
Saturday, October 25th. Oh, come over here, Megan. Hold on. We're going to talk about
special guest appearance from Ms. Megan Lair.
Oh, look, I'll take that one. Okay. Hey, how are you doing?
Your face.
Oh, hey guys, how you doing? Stop that. Okay, so October 25th is Comic Fest. Think Free Comic Book Day, but Halloween. It's an all-day thing. As soon as the store opens, we'll have free comics out and activities all day. It'll not only be the comic side, but also the gaming side. We'll have, games and things of that nature going on, both of the tabletop style and, Nerf guns, shooting fake zombies, things like that. So if you would like to come in, that would be fantastic. There's a possibility of door prizes, still working out logistics, and we'll have booths out like Free Comic Book Day.
Will we have role-playing games as well as board games?
If there are people interested, then yes, we'll have that.
Warhammer 40K?
If there are people interested, then yes, we'll have that.
What about X-Wing?
If there are people interested, yes, we will have that.
And collectible card games like Magic the Gathering?
I can assure you that we'll most definitely be there.
Are we encouraging
Okay.
people to dress up in costumes?
Yes, we are. Comic Fest is a Diamond Distributors holiday, if you will. It's one of their events they do. And stop that. That's annoying. It's like Free Comic Book Day. It's through them. So there's a website, and we will actually go over and submit those images to them, and then there's an actual contest. But it's not through us. It's through them. But we still want you to dress up, because it's fun.
Yes, we do, and yes, it is.
Come on out to Woodbridge and visit, and you can see Megan and put your microphone in her face.
Yeah, bring microphones. You have to bring your own
Yeah,
microphones.
you must bring your own microphone if you want to do that.
I only have a 3-inch microphone.
Stop! That was uncalled for.
So for Scott and Megan and
Don't forget Mark.
well, of course, Mark and mostly naked Craig. What was up with that? That was
I just
awful.
don't
That
know.
kind of threw everything off. Oh, you missed it earlier. I mean,
I
you
wasn't here the whole time. I'm sorry.
lucky Megan.
Yeah, you got out easy.
No, I was watching the kids.
Here we are at Flashback Comics, Troy David Phillips in Woodbridge, Virginia. And for everything geek pop culture, ComicsOnline.com.
You're doing it wrong.
I'm sorry.
And Troy David Phillips, the handsome mofo, standing right here. And for everything geek pop culture, I'm Kevin Goswan, and this has been the worst episode of Comics Online.
Actually, I don't know that's true.
Just end it.
I hope it was so. Let's go. We should be done now. Mark, let's go. Mark, just stop it.
From leaping tall buildings to going off like gamma bombs. Switch your internet browser to ComicsOnline.com.